I-War is one of my favorite Jaguar games, and even though it is, I've still got mixed feelings about some of the design. A game of action and exploration through a polygonal, partially texture-mapped mid-90s cyber world sounds like it would tick all of my boxes, right? You play an antivirus tank navigating the I-Way to clear out hostile viruses inside of a giant supercomputer, using either a light, medium, or heavy tank. Along the way, you can collect weapon power-ups, shields, and more as you battle hordes of enemies, bomb-dropping jets, and navigate traps. The control is fluid and the gunplay is really engaging. Collecting progressive power-ups keeps the pace of the game up, as you don't ever feel truly at a disadvantage against your opponents, and even if you do find yourself taking too much damage, you can save between missions, meaning you can prepare yourself and adjust your strategy for next time. Speaking of in-between levels, there's a bonus stage which takes the form of a tunnel full of hazards and pods you need to collect a certain percentage of. Do this and you're granted an extra life. Don't do it and you simply move on to the next level. At first, these are virtually impossible due to the default perspective, but once you realize you can change the camera angle like in normal gameplay, these get a lot easier. There isn't just mindless shooting to look forward to in I-War, however. Don't worry about that. Each area of a level is linked by a teleporter to another, often with a switch or an obstacle you can't bypass. Go through enough teleporters and hit enough switches and you'll find gates or more areas opening their way to you. You might also be wondering what the goal of each level is. Well, it's not just shooting things, you have to collect pods. Collect enough, the gate opens and you can continue. The thing I like the most about I-War is the fact that the game sprinkles enough of these elements around to, for the most part, stop them getting boring. Even better, there are elements like having to turn on jump pads which rocket you up into the air to get to otherwise out-of-reach platforms or pods. I really like the jumping mechanic. It's pretty exciting in practice and adds some punch to the level design. While all the elements of the game are pretty solid, there are some definite issues which contribute to my mixed feelings. First of all, the frame rate frequently takes a dip in the toilet when there are too many explosions going on or the action gets a little too intense. In addition to that, the game will often dump you out of teleporters straight into the middle of a cadre of enemies, meaning you take unfair damage. The biggest issue with the gameplay, however, is that by level 10 you're beginning to get a bit bored of the same levels over and over. While the levels are novel the first few times around, you really start noticing that each concurrent one is just a rearranged version of the last few. Post level 10, there's some variation added to the level design, but the same basic structures keep appearing and the same goals keep popping up. It does wear on you and does get a bit repetitive. From a presentation perspective, I-War is very solid. Well-rounded polygonal level elements and enemies are mixed in with some good texture mapping and great front-end design, from the nice title screen art to the attractive menus. Sound is excellent with great synthesized speech and pumping techno music tracks. I-War's a decent game, one that really evokes the Atari of years past. Fast-paced action with just enough innovation to give you something other to do than just blow things up. The whole thing looks nice and plays well, bar some frame rate issues and repetitive level design later in the game. While it is a mixed bag, I-War is more good than bad ultimately, and is well worth a play.